An experienced archaeologist can often identify an ancient object the instant they set eyes on it. For instances where that isn't achievable, they turn to scientists for added insight. If none of them can offer that clarity, they're left with a riddle on their hands, a riddle that experts struggle to decipher. Such finds are the most thrilling you'll ever find in the realm of archaeology, as you'll see in this video. These are the 15 archaeological discoveries that defy logic and science. Number 15, Chinese Bai disc in Kentucky. Chinese Bai discs are no mystery. Archaeologists have studied them for years. They're jade burial objects, usually found in elite tombs from Neolithic China. Carved with precise patterns and symbols, often religious or celestial, these donut-shaped relics date back 5,000 years. But in 2015, one showed up somewhere it absolutely shouldn't have, in a backyard in Harrison County, Kentucky. It was found by a local resident who had no clue what it was. 2 years passed before experts finally confirmed it, a genuine Chinese Bai disc made of jade and etched with a show dragon along with 4 ancient Chinese characters. It had no business being in rural America, so how did it get there? The man who found it had no connection to China, and no one believes he planted it. There's no logical explanation. Maybe someone tossed it into his yard, but that just raises more questions. Who throws away ancient artifacts? And why this one? To this day, the Bai disc's presence in Kentucky remains totally unexplained. Number 14. Toumai Skull of Chad. In 2001, a fossilized skull emerged from the desert in Chad, Central Africa. It was nicknamed Toumai, hope of life in the local Dazaga language, and it shook everything scientists thought they knew about human evolution. The skull belongs to a species called Sahelanthropus chadensis and is estimated to be 7 million years old. That makes it the oldest hominid ever discovered, pushing our timeline of human ancestry back further than previously imagined. The brain size was similar to a chimp's, but the teeth were surprisingly human-like. This raised immediate questions. Did Toumai walk upright? Was it already part of the human lineage, or a branch that died out? More controversially, it was found nearly 2,000 miles west of the East African Rift Valley, long considered the cradle of humanity. If the skull's dating and classification hold, it could mean early human ancestors were more widespread than believed. That challenges deeply rooted theories and suggests our origin story may be far more complex. Number 13. The Well of Barhout. In Yemen's Al-Mara province lies a gaping hole in the earth known as the Well of Barhout, also called the Well of Hell. Nobody knows how deep it truly goes. Estimates vary wildly, from 330 to 820 feet, and no one has made it to the bottom to measure. Local folklore claims it was built to trap evil spirits. Scientists say it's likely a natural sinkhole, but that's where agreement ends. Some believe it formed millions of years ago. Others insist something far more recent caused it. Strange smells have been reported rising from its depths. Some say the well is cursed, while others believe getting too close means being pulled in, never to return. Despite the fear, no modern expedition has properly investigated it, or at least none that made it back. It's pitch black below, with barely any air and no natural light. Whether it's a geological oddity or something more sinister, the Well of Hell continues to terrify and baffle anyone who hears about it. Number 12. The Mysterious Wall of Kat Shabib. Everyone's heard of the Great Wall of China, but few know about Jordan's mysterious Kat Shabib. It stretches over 90 miles through a lifeless stretch of desert, and since its discovery, it has baffled historians and archaeologists for decades. No ancient cities exist near it, no forts, temples, or known roads. There's also no record of it in ancient texts. It seems to serve no visible purpose. If it had been built for defense, it would have needed greater height. Yet it was discovered not by excavation, but by accident. A British diplomat flying overhead in 1948 noticed it slicing across the desert and flagged it to researchers. A full investigation followed, but apart from the wall itself, nothing of historical value was found nearby. Radiocarbon dating hasn't offered clarity. Its age is still debated. Theories range from ancient land division to forgotten military planning, but none of them fully hold up. The Kat Shabib Wall remains just what it is, a massive structure stretching across empty land, unlinked to any civilization we've been able to trace. Number 11. The Mars Rock with Egyptian symbols. In 1908, a strange stone landed in the garden of Angus MacKinnon on Vancouver Island, which is in Canada. It nearly struck his 14-year-old son. When they examined it, the rock was still hot, like it had fallen from the sky. Stranger still, it was covered in what looked like Egyptian hieroglyphics. Newspapers jumped on the story, labeling it a message from Mars. That headline stuck, even though the object has never been scientifically confirmed as a meteorite. What makes the story persist isn't just the odd symbols, it's MacKinnon himself. He wasn't known to be a fraud or an attention seeker. He gave no interviews, wrote no books, and never sold the stone. If it was a prank, there was no payoff. Some believe it was just a chunk of local rock that had been engraved and planted. Others think it was space debris, though how ancient Egyptian-style carving ended up on it remains unexplained. No one's managed to trace its exact origin. Number 10. Fish face stone figures of Lepenski Vir. Archaeologists in Serbia remain baffled by a group of expressive stone figurines uncovered in 2019 at Lepenski Vir, a Mesolithic settlement on the Danube. Carved roughly 8,000 years ago from river cobbles, each small statue shows bulging eyes, downturned mouths, and stylized gill lines that lend a distinctly fish-like appearance. Dozens were recovered, yet none carried contextual clues, no inscriptions, offerings, or obvious ritual arrangement. Scholars debate whether they depict river deities, ancestral spirits, or an artistic style shaped by life beside Europe's great waterway. The mournful faces may signal grief, though others think they mimic the giant catfish and sturgeon that sustain the community. Little is known about the people who lived here. Their settlement vanished long before written records. Future excavations may uncover hearths or pigments that clarify these stones' role. For now, the figures sit in museum cases, their blank eyes challenging researchers to decode a message carried silently across millennia. Number 9. Sanju Sangin-do statues. In Kyoto, you'll find Sanshan-zon-do, a hall that houses 1,001 wooden statues of Kannon, the Buddhist deity of mercy. Each statue has a unique face, despite being carved from the same material. Sanshan-do translates to Hall of 33 Bays, though the name gives little away about its purpose. Built in 1266 by the Tendai Buddhist sect, the building was originally named Renjo-in. At some point the name changed, but when and why remains undocumented. What makes the site pretty puzzling isn't the religious devotion, but the individuality of every figure. Entry is tightly restricted, photography is prohibited, and scholars are rarely permitted access for detailed study. So how and why were all 1,001 statues given unique features? Who modeled for them? What message was being conveyed? Was it symbolic or personal? Those answers are lost, but the consistency, scale, and craftsmanship hint at something more deliberate, possibly a spiritual mystery encoded in wood and gold, left untouched for centuries. Number 8. Ancient stainless steel in Iran. While stainless steel is often considered a modern innovation, recent evidence says otherwise. In 2020, findings published in the Journal of Archaeological Science traced the origins of chromium steel, modern stainless steel's ancestor, to Shahak, Iran. This material, known today for its rust resistance, was being produced more than 1,000 years ago. The process is referenced in the ancient Persian manuscript A Compendium to Know the Gems, authored by Abu Rayhan al-Biruni. Written in the 11th century, possibly earlier, the text outlines techniques for crafting rust-resistant steel. Supporting evidence came from the discovery of 2 crucible steel slags at the Shahak site, each dating to the 12th century and both containing chromium residues. This confirms local production of chromium alloyed steel. Despite this advancement, the knowledge didn't spread or endure. The technique was lost, only to be rediscovered centuries later in the industrial era. Scholars are still unsure why this metallurgical breakthrough vanished, but the archaeological record leaves little doubt stainless steel was born in medieval Persia. Number 7. Neolithic wine jars, unearthed in Georgia. In 2021, excavations near Tbilisi revealed ceramic jars containing residues of what is now believed to be the world's oldest wine. Dated to around 8,000 years ago, these Neolithic vessels were found in the South Caucasus region, just 30 miles outside the capital. Chemical analysis identified tartaric acid, an unmistakable trace left behind by grapes and wine, proving that fermentation occurred inside the jars. Until this find, the oldest known wine traces came from Iran's Zagros Mountains and dated to around 7,500 years ago. Georgia's fertile climate mirrors that of France and Italy, making it an ideal environment for grape cultivation even in antiquity. These jars weren't just for storage, they were the earliest tools of a craft still practiced across the region today. Their discovery suggests that organized winemaking likely began alongside the earliest forms of settled life. Whether for ceremony, trade, or daily consumption, wine had already become embedded in human culture, its roots tangled deep in clay, stone, and tradition. Number 6. Sourdough loaf in Herculaneum. In 1930, archaeologists excavating a villa in Herculaneum uncovered something they didn't expect: an entire loaf of bread, blackened but intact. The bread had been sealed under volcanic ash since the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD alongside the city of Pompeii. It wasn't just preserved, it was detailed. You can still see the scoring lines, portion cuts, and even the stamp branding it with the baker's mark. Scientists eventually recreated the recipe based on its structure and carbon content. It included wheat, barley, salt, and a fermentation agent, likely a sourdough starter. What's remarkable is how much it resembles modern rustic loaves. The bread was likely placed in the oven early in the morning. Hours later, Vesuvius erupted, and the heat carbonized the loaf before it could decay. Thousands of years later, it's still recognizable. Unlike bones or tools, this bread reveals the daily habits of ordinary Romans, what they ate, how they baked, and even how they divided meals. It's a culinary time capsule, sealed in volcanic stone. Number 5. A Bronze Age settlement under Lake Lucerne. In April 2021, construction plans for a pipeline under Lake Lucerne led to an unexpected surprise. A team from Zurich's Urban Development Office dove beneath the water's surface and uncovered the remnants of a 3,000-year-old Bronze Age settlement. There had been no previous suggestion that anything lay beneath the lake bed, but the discovery of wooden stakes and ceramic shards quickly proved otherwise. These submerged timbers were once part of stilt houses, homes built directly over water. The ceramics, dated through stratigraphy and style, confirmed the community's age. This now ranks as the oldest known human settlement in the Lucerne region. The lake likely rose over time and gradually consumed the area, preserving what had once been a thriving village. The find changes everything historians thought they knew about early Swiss settlement patterns. While more excavation is needed, what's already been found reveals that life existed here long before the modern city took shape, making this the region's own version of a forgotten Atlantis, hiding in plain sight beneath calm waters. Number 4. Coffin texts of the Middle Kingdom. Ancient Egyptians treated burial as a sacred science. Alongside elaborate mummification and ornate tombs, they added one final element: painted inscriptions on coffins, known today as coffin texts. Originally reserved for royalty, these spells and incantations eventually became common among anyone who could afford a proper burial. These weren't decorative writings. Most were spiritual instructions, commands, or requests meant to ensure the dead passed safely into the afterlife. Some were difficult to decipher. Others were direct, asking deities like Osiris for judgment or passage. Their rise in use marked a shift in Egyptian belief. The afterlife was no longer exclusive to pharaohs. Ordinary people could now prepare their souls through ritual and words. Historians believe the famed Book of the Dead may actually be a later compilation of these early coffin texts. This is also where we first see the judgment scene, where the heart of the dead is weighed. Long before Christianity shaped similar concepts, the coffin text showed a moral code: only the righteous gained eternity. Well, how unearthly it was. Number 3. The Antioch chalice. Unearthed near ancient Antioch in 1910, the silver-gilt vessel dubbed the Antioch chalice has sparked debate for more than a century. Early collectors proclaimed it the Holy Grail, a claim amplified at the 1933 Chicago World's Fair. Later study, however, indicated a 6th century oil lamp whose ornate filigree shell was added to encase a simpler inner cup. Repoussé panels depict Christ between apostles and 10 classical philosophers reputed to have foretold his coming, imagery typical of early Byzantine luxury metalwork. Its weight alone exceeds 2 kilograms of refined silver. No firm link connects it to 1st century Jerusalem, yet the Grail myth persists. Some argue the inner cup could predate its casing. Whatever the truth, the craftsmanship is exquisite: pierced silver, traces of gold wash, and subtle enamel highlights. Now displayed at New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art, the object endures as both a masterpiece and a mystery, inviting visitors to weigh legend against scholarship. Number 2. The ring watch. Inside a Ming tomb. Every time an object shows up where it shouldn't, the internet jumps to time travel. Usually that theory falls apart fast. But in 2008, a sealed Ming Dynasty tomb in Shaanxi, China, revealed something that still hasn't been explained: a tiny metallic object shaped like a Swiss ring watch. The tomb had been untouched for over 400 years, yet inside it was a miniature ring engraved with the word Switzerland and the time frozen at 6 minutes past 10. The immediate assumption was a hoax, but there's no proof. Sure, clocks existed by the 17th century, but wearable watches were extremely rare, especially ones bearing a name of a country that didn't formally exist until 1848. Some researchers speculate the tomb was opened and resealed. Others suggest a burrowing animal brought the object in, though how a ring watch ended up in a rodent stash is anyone's guess. Either explanation feels like a stretch, and until someone proves otherwise, the Swiss ring watch remains one of archaeology's weirdest unresolved finds. Number 1. Ancient Egyptian tomb of Wahibra Mary Neith. In early 2022, Egyptian archaeologists uncovered a well-preserved tomb at Saqqara belonging to Wahibra Mary Neith, a high-ranking official and royal scribe from the late 26th dynasty circa 500 BCE. The limestone shaft tomb lies near the Bubastician necropolis, already famous for housing elite burials. Inside, excavators found the official's large stone sarcophagus, inscribed with prayers and protective spells. Although the tomb had been disturbed in antiquity, many of its original items remained, including a Shabti figurines, amulets, and alabaster vessels. A painted offering table and intact wall inscriptions detail Wahibra's duties under Pharaoh Amasis II. One inscription refers to him as overseer of the royal archives, suggesting he managed crucial state documents. While his name appears in earlier temple texts, this burial confirms his role and status. Saqqara's deep layers continue to reveal influential individuals once buried under Egypt's sand. Wahibra's tomb is another reminder that scribes weren't mere clerks. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.